Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives why John Boyega should be cast as John Stewart in DC's Lanterns. Now, when I see some of these casting rumours, I don't like them. They look very, very soulless. I don't feel John Stewart vibes because John Stewart should be a certain way. He's got pride. I don't know. There's just something so upstanding and good about John Stewart, opposed to Hal Jordan, who's a little bit different. He's a little bit of the all-American playboy, if you like. But John Stewart's a little bit more upstanding, and he has John Boyega all over him, right? And these casting rumours I'm seeing do concern me, and I don't really want to go into what I think their mentality is in this casting. By the way, I don't think they'll cast John Boyega as John Stewart because I think it would be a good decision. And we know when it comes to logical, common sense decisions, New Hollywood are out for the day. They have the day off, right? That's why I don't think they'll cast John. But I think they should cast John Boyega as John Stewart. Casting him would be amazing. Him starting off on this streaming show and then being in other DC movies and hopefully one day being in a Green Lantern Corps epic awesome movie. This role, this part has John written all over it. I really like John because success hasn't changed him. When I see him in interviews, he's the same now as he was when he was a lot younger. So I really like John Boyega. I love that story of him taking Harrison Ford, I think, to a Nigerian restaurant and Harrison appreciating that. He would have really appreciated being around John, a down-to-earth, young British guy as well, rather than those fakes and frauds from LA. We know that Harrison Ford doesn't live in that circuit in LA. He's very down to earth, and that's why I've always really liked Harrison Ford as a person. But to prove to you that, why John Boyega should be playing John Stewart in Lanterns, we need to go back to one of his most famous roles as Finn in the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Because even if you don't like that trilogy, I don't know anyone who doesn't like John Boyega as Finn, because they did John and that character dirty. We all know that, and I think John knows that as well, but obviously got to be careful what he says. He wants to keep on working, right? I get it. But they did him dirty. In the first film, he and Daisy, I love Daisy, by the way, right? Everyone's got issues with Ray, blah, 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 because she didn't have training and she could do it all. But I love Daisy, and I thought Daisy and John had this great chemistry on screen in The Force Awakens. So what did Rian Johnson do? Barely give Daisy and John any scenes together in The Last Jedi. It didn't make sense. Now, I really liked the other female character that John was with in The Last Jedi. I thought Rose Tico was a sweet character. I don't know why people had issues with her. But the thing was, why did you separate those two characters away from everyone else? You were setting up this romance, this great dynamic between Rey and Finn. And it was taken away from us, and I never understood why. So because John did so well as Finn in the Star Wars sequel trilogy, and he gave that character that likeable, lovable personality, we all actually loved him. He's my favourite Star Wars sequel trilogy character. As I say, I've got a lot of time for John. So I feel that John would be a perfect John Stewart. It makes so much sense. I'm surprised that they won't do it. But as I said, when it comes to common sense, and I don't know if they're not going to do it, it's just a feeling. I don't think they would cast him as John Stewart. But it's not because he's well known. It's not because he's famous. It's because he's perfect for the role. John is a really good character actor, and he knows how to place likability within his characters. No matter the actions of said character, John knows how to make that character likable. Because if you see John in his interviews, he's very, very likable. John comes across, and I've never met John before, but comes across as a very down-to-earth lad, likable lad. So I think I'm putting, my hat in the ring I'm putting John Boyega's hat in the ring to play John Stewart in lanterns. And James Gunn, you would be dumb not to take this opportunity and cast John Boyega as Jon Stewart